let's try this question because it uses something you need to remember from grade 10 math. So it says, a rock was brought up to the roof of an 18-meter high building and thrown off. The rock had an initial velocity of 24 meters per second upwards. How long does it take to hit the ground? So sometimes, instead of just listing our given information, what we do is we draw a picture. So I'm going to draw the ground. I'll use green for ground. And I draw my building. Like so. And we take the rock, and the rock goes up and then down until it hits the ground. So we know that the building is 18 meters high, is my displacement from the top of the building to the bottom. I know the initial velocity is 24 meters per second up, so VI is equal to 24 meters per second up. And it says, how long does it take to hit the ground? So I'm actually looking for time. I also know what the acceleration due to gravity is. So I know the acceleration due to gravity is equal to 9.8 meters per second squared in the down direction. My displacement is 18 and my VI is 24. So when I look at all my formulas, the formula that works is D is equal to VIT plus 1/2 AT squared. Because I know the displacement. Displacement's always, where did I start? Where did I finish? I finished 18 meters below from where I started. I'm looking for time. I know what A is, the acceleration due to gravity, and again, I'm looking for time. So when I plug in my information, because I can't rearrange for t and t squared, so let's just plug in our numbers. We have 18 is equal to, now there's a problem. This is down and that is up. So VI, I could rewrite it as negative 24 meters per second down, because they need to be pointing in the same direction. So I have minus 24 t plus 1/2. A we know is 9.8 t squared. Let's simplify this a little bit. 18 is equal to negative 24 t plus half of 9.8 is 4.9. This is a quadratic. So you have to think back to grade 10 math when you learned how to use the quadratic formula, because you have the equivalent to x squared, x, and a number. And if you think back to the quadratic formula, everything has to be equal to 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this 18 onto this side so the whole formula is equal to 0. To do that, I just subtract 18 from both sides. And I get 0 is equal to, normally we start with the squared term first, so I'm going to write that one first. So 4.9 t squared minus 24 t minus 18. So this is my A value, this is my B value, and this is my C value. So if we think back to the quadratic formula was, in math you use x, but in this case we have t, so t is equal to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And you just plug in your a, b, c. So we have minus 24 plus or minus the square root of negative 24 squared minus 4 times my a, which is 4.9, times my c, which is negative 18, all over 2 times 4.9. Just gonna move this up a little bit so you can see the math. All right, when I punch that into my calculator, I get 2 answers out. I get 5.56 seconds, or I get negative 0.66 seconds. And you need to look at those 2 answers and say to yourself, one of them doesn't make sense. and it's the -1. We haven't quite figured out how to go backwards in time yet, so that one obviously doesn't make sense because, again, I don't know how to time travel. So our answer is 5.56 seconds. So sometimes when we end up with this quadratic with the t and the t squared, we're going to use the quadratic formula to solve.